It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hint Hive, amplifying women's voices. Today, we're tackling a very real, raw, and relevant topic: empowering women post-election. I know that for many of you, the recent election outcome has felt like a punch in the gut. I am right there with you, and I'm here to say it's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to grieve, to be angry, to feel uncertain. But we are also here to gather strength, to find hope, and to remind ourselves of our power, our collective and individual strength as women. Let's take this time together to unpack some of what so many of us are feeling. I'll also share some tips for coping and suggest ways to stay empowered as we move forward together. Now, before I jump in, I will be very honest with you. I don't know how this is going to go because I am still dealing with all of my own feelings, and I'm trying very hard to channel my inner therapist and be as inspiring and educational and empowering as I can be. But I don't know where this will take me. I have actually written this episode so that I can keep my thoughts together, because if I allow my emotions to take over, it would be very scattered and very emotional, and I have a greater purpose here. This podcast is not for me to process my feelings. This podcast is to empower women, and so that's where I'm going to try to remain focused. So first and foremost, apologies if this isn't the quality that you're looking for, but I'm going to try my best. Okay, let's start first and foremost. Wow, I'm saying that a lot. Okay. Sorry. Let's start by acknowledging the very real and very valid pain that many of us are experiencing. For many women, this was not about just a candidate winning or losing. It wasn't about Republicans versus Democrat. It's about the fear of what could come next, about policies that may impact our rights, our bodies, and our futures. Because we've seen this story before. We've been here before, back in 2016, when the stuff started happening. Women lost their right to have a doctor take a dead fetus out of their womb in some states. So this is personal. It's not politics for many of us. For some of you listening, it is just politics, and this episode may piss you right the hell off. And I'm not going to apologize. Instead, I'm going to ask you to explore the feelings of anger that you have in response to anything that I'm saying today, because that will be very telling of your mindset, and hopefully it will help you to think a little bit deeper and find some empathy for the people who are struggling right now. Because I can tell you, back in 2016, all of my women that I worked with that had sexual trauma, they really, really struggled, and the lack of empathy for that struggle pissed me off. But you know what? I did not treat people who were happy about Trump winning with any disrespect, and so I want to see that in return. I want you people who voted for Donald Trump to give some empathy and understanding and space for the people who are upset to grieve. I did that for you, and I'm asking you to do that for us. I know that there are many women out there who feel like their autonomy is in jeopardy, or that the progress we've made could be reversed. I know that there are many gay couples who fear that their marriages are going to be taken away from them. I know that there are women of color out there who are terrified and pissed as hell that white women didn't show up for them. And again, if you went to the polls and you didn't have any of this in mind, congratulations on your privilege. I'm glad that bad stuff hasn't happened to you to get you into a headspace where you would actually think about this. I'm happy for you. I truly am. But don't be hating on those of us who have had bad things happen to them and who placed some personal feelings on all of this. You know, or maybe some people are even distraught because they're feeling this deep-rooted sense of not feeling seen or valued by our society. I have seen so many posts by women of color on social media about this. That's what I am hearing, this overwhelming sense that they are not seen, that they are not valued. And whether or not that is true, that is what they are feeling, and they get to feel it. And whatever the emotion that people are feeling, please remember that it's okay to feel it. Grieving is a natural response to loss, and we are grieving for a vision of society that many of us feel might be slipping away. To those who may not feel personally impacted by the election, I'd like to ask for your understanding and empathy once again. Please understand that for some of us, this is more than politics. It is about survival. It is about feeling safe and having the agency to make choices about our lives, our bodies. For so many women, this election represents something deeply personal. So please give us the grace that we need to process our emotions on this. So on social media, there is a particularly fabulous gentleman, read the sarcasm, named Nicholas J. Fuentes. And he posted, "Your body, my choice, forever." And then someone pushed back on him and said, "Don't worry about it. No woman will ever let you impregnate her." Guess what a response from another man was to that? We don't need permission. Do you understand now why some women are upset about this? Nicholas went on to say that he now has control over women. This, my friends, is why women are freaking out. This mindset, this belief. Because some of us have been personally affected by that mindset, that our bodies are not our own, that men control our bodies. So again, as you see women freaking out, keep that in mind, okay? I don't want this episode to be all about me listing all of the reasons why this is devastating. Instead, I'm going to suggest that those of you who don't understand why people are upset, could you please just talk to them? Could you please just ask why your mother, daughter, sister, female friend is crying about the election? Could you do that? Could you be a decent person and just ask? That's all. Just ask. And let them help you understand, if they are willing, to share their experiences and their reasons. It's not political for those of us who are upset. It has nothing to do with winning and losing. It has nothing to do with your victory over ours. It is personal. And so just ask, just talk. On a TikTok video, I had gone into this a little bit yesterday and talking about why I'm upset about some of this. And the amount of women who commented about their situations just really validated why we're all upset. And I pissed some people off because I said that there are people who voted for him that are not horrible people. There are some people out there who chose to vote for him for reasons that are important to them. And they didn't vote consciously against women. They didn't vote consciously against a woman of color. A lot of them may have. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Some of you are such racist, sexist piles of crap. But you're not listening to this podcast because why would you? You don't have an open enough mind to listen to this podcast and not be defensive and offended by what I have to say. So you're not the people I'm talking about. You're not even listening. But women got upset that I had the nerve to say that there were good people that voted for him. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a therapist, I teach people every single day of my life that things are not black and white. It's not yes or no. It's not this or that. It's not evil versus good. There's so much gray in this world, and we have to learn to live in it. We have to learn to survive the gray. And so we can't just lump everybody into generalizations, because guess what? There are some people who voted for Kamala Harris that are piles of crap too. And so even saying that just makes me feel horrible, but it's the truth. You cannot generalize all groups of people and say all women this, all black people this, all Trump voters this. You can't do that. What you can acknowledge, however, is that the people who voted differently than you voted from different places in their heart, their head, whatever. And yes, there are crappy people on both sides. I'm not going to pretend that everybody who voted for Kamala Harris is a rock star, savior, fantastic, perfect person. Because that's not reality. And I'm sorry that hurts some of you to hear that. But I am not here to make friends. I am here to empower women. I'm here to educate people. I'm here to inspire people. And I will tell it like it is. And I will not be sucked into this BS nonsense of all this or all that. Because let me tell you, it's some of you on the extreme ends of things that are causing the problems. Let that sink in for a minute. I am going to be somebody who chooses to try to get people to listen and hear me. And I have learned over the course of my life that you can't always scream in someone's face and beat them down to change their mind. So I'm going to try to speak in words that people will be receptive to. But don't get me wrong. The things I say to my husband in the privacy of my own home are pretty vile and disgusting at times, because I've got a lot of anger about what happened on Tuesday. But something that's part of my healing process, and my husband is a wonderful support for that. And I hope that those of you listening that are hurting have supports like I have. All right, I need to move on because this episode will be way too long if I keep going off like this. Let's talk about moving from despair to resilience. While it is very important to sit with our pain, it is equally important not to let it consume us. So how do we find resilience? How do we transform this heartbreak into something empowering? One thing that can help, and it helps me for sure, is reconnecting with our community. Take a moment to lean on the women around you. Whether it's friends, family, an online support network, reach out, please. I know that here within our Hint Hive community, we have built a space where everyone can feel safe, where we can all hold each other up. Community is essential when we are facing hardship. You are not alone, and we are all navigating this together. Another step towards resilience is setting healthy boundaries with the media. Constantly watching the news or scrolling social media can keep us in a loop of fear. Instead, try to stay informed without overloading. Create windows of time where you can disconnect from the nonsense and just recharge. It is okay to protect your peace. I have had to take many social media breaks because the hate that I receive and the hate that I see gets very overwhelming at times, and I will protect my peace above all else. I'm not going to get sucked into it, and I'm not going to let the hatred and negativity ruin me. I am not going to give my power over to complete strangers. I keep my power within me. We need to turn our pain into purpose. That's why I became a therapist. That's why I started this podcast. Because when we feel powerless, we can find strength in action. So let's talk about some powerful, concrete steps that we can take. The first one is to stay informed and educate others, because knowledge is power. Educate yourself on the issues at stake and share that knowledge. Talk with friends and family about policies that impact women's rights, healthcare, and equality. Use these discussions to raise awareness, particularly among those who may not understand why we're feeling this way. And then, of course, advocate locally. If you feel unheard at the national level, local politics might be where your voice makes a difference. Find out what's happening in your city, your county, and your state. Volunteer with organizations that align with your values and get involved in local elections. And then support organizations that champion women's rights. There are so many incredible organizations fighting for women's rights, especially those focused on reproductive rights, healthcare, and equality. Support these groups with your time, your voice, or even financially if you can afford to do so. Every bit counts and contributes to the bigger picture. And then finally, raise your voice. Whether you are a writer, an artist, a speaker, or someone who wants to attend rallies, use your voice. That's what I'm doing right now. I am using this platform for so many purposes, and all of it is for the good of women and hopefully the good of society overall, the good for any marginalized group. Write, create, speak, and show up Because when we express our pain, our anger, and our vision for the future, it resonates. You are creating ripples, and those ripples lead to waves. We have to stop feeling powerless. And I get it. I know how difficult it is because right now I feel like I am screaming into a void. I have felt like I was screaming into a void for the last 10 damn years of my life. Actually, it probably goes back even further than that. But let me tell you, I'm going to keep shouting. I'm going to keep fighting. My foremothers who fought and died for my right to vote, they didn't give up. Some of them lost their lives. How far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to stand up and persevere? Damn it, don't give up. Do not give up, because when you give up, they win. And I know this is just such a weird place to be in. We need to fight, but we also need to encourage compassion and unity. To our sisters, our friends, and our allies, let's stay compassionate and empathetic. Not everyone processes these changes the same way, and not everyone will feel what we feel. But by staying open and kind, we can reach those who may not understand, and through compassion, we can show them why these issues matter so much to us. In a time when so many of us are feeling raw and vulnerable, I want to encourage everyone listening, whether you're feeling distressed or feeling at ease, to bring compassion into your interactions. This is not about convincing anyone. It is just about being open to understanding the depths of others' experiences. And for those of you who are feeling empowered right now, I encourage you to lend that strength to those who may feel shaken. Stand beside them. Offer a listening ear. Support them in any way that you can. Sometimes empowerment looks like taking action, and sometimes it is simply holding space for others. You know, we need to move forward, and we need to do it together. I'm seeing so much hate and blame online. There are many women of color that are very angry with white women right now. And I get it. I understand it. I can't possibly imagine what your life is, but I can tell you I am hurting for you. I am not a woman of color, but I hurt for you because I know you are feeling sad, angry, lost, abandoned, unseen. And that bothers me to my very core because I know how amazing you are. I see the beauty in you. I'm the woman walking by you in the grocery store that sees your beauty emanating from you. And I just want to walk up and hug you and say, I'm so sorry. I'm so incredibly sorry. This election goes so far deeper than politics. It touches on race, sex, religion, trauma, mental health. It's all there. It's all raw. And a lot of us are feeling it. But as we navigate this post-election period, let's remember that the path to equality is not a straight line. It is complex. It is messy. And yes, sometimes it is heartbreaking. But history has shown us that progress is possible when we persist. The feminist movement did not emerge in easy times. It was born from struggle. Our foremothers fought against odds too, ladies. And now it is our turn to continue that fight in whatever ways we can. For some, that might mean advocacy. For others, it might mean creating spaces of healing and understanding. Every action matters, and every voice counts. I think of the story I shared in the very first episode of this podcast about that beautiful woman who sat next to me on the plane. That elderly woman who was on the front lines of the feminist movement, who watched her sisters die from botched abortions, from illegal abortions. And I remember her looking me in the face and saying, "We are old, we are tired, we can't fight anymore." And as I put my hand on her arm, I remember saying to her, "It's okay. We are here now. We will pick up the fight." I have thought about her so much in the last couple of days, and the fact that I don't know her name. I never got her contact information. That will be something that I regret till my dying day. Because let me tell you, I would fly to her house tomorrow just to hug her and tell her that I'm sorry. That I'm sorry that women could not mobilize enough to make the change that needed to be made to keep fighting for equality. So if you're listening to me, please be part of the movement. Please be part of the fight for equality. Don't let her down. She's tired. She and her sisters fought for us. We need to fight for her. To everyone listening, please know that you are powerful beyond measure. Even when things feel uncertain, when you feel small or unseen, your voice, your passion, and your strength, it all matters. And remember, we are in this together. So take time to rest, to recharge, and to find comfort in those around you. We need each other now more than ever. And together, my friends, we will keep moving forward. As always, I thank you so much for spending this time with me on the Hint Hive, amplifying women's voices. Let's keep supporting one another and empowering one another and fighting for a world that honors equality, dignity, and respect. Remember, even when things feel difficult, you are not alone. We are strong, we are resilient, and together we are damn unstoppable. Until next time, stay compassionate, stay fierce, and keep raising your voice. Let's keep building the world that we believe in, one step, one word, one action at a time. And if you are needing extra support, please feel free to reach out to me. Reach out to those you love, your healthy supports. All right, my friends, that wraps up today's episode. As always, I thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to join us over in the Facebook group if you need more support or a community that has your back. Take care, everyone, and stay strong. We will not stop fighting. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out KellyMHint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out TheCrankyCounselor.com.